Someone has to protect men like you from a universe that doesn't share your sense of right and wrong.
Often when we try to parse out someone's intentions, we have to remember to analyze what they don't do, versus just looking at their statements and dialogue. One of the most controversial elements of Deep Space Nine, and what many of the uneducated masses claim is a complete betrayal of Gene Roddenberry's vision, is the inclusion of Section 31. Section 31 is a clandestine group that operates off the books with no central authority. It operates outside of the jurisdiction of the Federation law and Starfleet procedure. Its mission is to safeguard against any threats to Starfleet and Federation citizens, be them foreign or domestic. But the question really comes down to, well, for this video at least, was Sisko a Section 31 operative? We don't have a lot of information relating to Section 31 and Sisko. It is, quite obviously, a Bashir-focused story arc. However, there are a few themes and threads that can be observed with Sisko and the Black Ops organization.
Someone at Starfleet Command is protecting them. Either way, we now have a chance to get someone inside, and I think I want to take it.
So you want me to play along? Pretend that I've decided to work for Sloan after all?
Exactly.
When we look at how Sisko interacts with Bashir, remember that he always encourages the young doctor to assist Section 31 in the end. Sure, there may be points where he seems reluctant, but when push comes to shove, he tells the professional to assist the organization. Sisko's claim is that it's so that they can get inside of Section 31, but with the exception of curing Odo, this never really helps the heroes out. They never dismantle Section 31. It's still there in the background, just thanks to Bashir, many of their missions were a success. In fact, when you consider that Ross is compromised, it makes a lot more sense that Sisko is as well.
I had a conversation with Admiral Ross this afternoon. He and I both agree that the Romulan conference is too important to cancel.
As we see in the DS9 episode, Inter Arma Inum Silent Legis, Ross admits that he allied with Section 31, even if he calls it a temporary alliance. Sisko states in that same episode he was against Bashir helping, and then after talking to Ross, he's all on board for Team Let's Assist Section 31. If Sisko was truly innocent, then why didn't the betrayal of the Admiral impact his relationship with him? Ross is seen only a few episodes later marrying Benjamin Sisko and his terrorist wife. Sisko's terrorist wife. Ross doesn't have a terrorist wife that I'm aware of. Apparently, the revelation that Ross and Section 31 are tight didn't hit Sisko that badly. So it seems all the more likely that the captain was either a part of Section 31 before or was turned by Ross, or he didn't care. And it's not like Sisko doesn't agree with Section 31's results.
Giving them the cure would strengthen their hand. We can't do that. Not when there are still millions of men and women out there putting their lives on the line every day.
In fact, he justifies genocide to Odo in the DS9 episode Dogs of War. Every time we see Sisko, every time we see him, with maybe one caveat, he is either pushing Julian to help Section 31 or absolutely agreeing with the ends being justified, even if he doesn't like the means. And the caveat I'm talking about is only when family, when Odo, a deep friend of his, is hurt. And even then, it's still kind of sketchy. It also makes more sense when you consider some of Sisko's actions. He has done a lot of very illegal things and gotten away with it. The man literally uses biogenic weapons in For the Uniform, and nothing ever happens to him. He was one of the designers of the Defiant, and are you really telling me Section 31 didn't get involved with Starfleet's return to an acceptance in making ships of war? Like, really? We know when Section 31 is exposed, they just push it aside. They don't really talk about it. That's exactly what happened when Sisko literally destroyed the atmosphere of another planet, at least for a specific species.
Sloan?
He died about 2 minutes ago. He almost took you with him.
Finally, let's talk about the one data point that creates a wrinkle that will inevitably be brought up. That is the quiet acceptance of Sisko when Sloan died, not trying to stop his murder. In theory, this is a fellow agent of Sisko's, if Sisko is Section 31. But let's take a look at it. First, it goes back to the ends justifying the means. O'Brien and Bashir are gung-ho. They're not going to let this go. And Odo is family, and he does need to be cured. Section 31 can't just give the cure to O'Brien and Bashir because that would seem suspect, and there is every chance that they would then give it to the Dominion. Killing Bashir and O'Brien, beyond the fact that they're family to Sisko, creates too many problems as well. Both Kira and Odo are aware, and there are others that know what's happening too. I mean, is Sisko going to kill the entirety of the DS9 senior staff? And then if he does, now we have Kira dead, who is a Bajoran, and then the Bajoran government gets involved. It's just way too messy. So Sisko making the unfortunate call to sacrifice Sloan to allow a small victory and save Odo actually kind of makes sense. It could also be that Sisko didn't know the cure and he couldn't get it. Possibly that Sloan wasn't allowing him to have it. This would be logical if we consider that Sisko would have wanted to cure Odo, but Sloan just wouldn't allow it. So in that vein, Sisko may have helped and was engaging in a minor coup in Section 31.
Something has to be done.
Agreed.
You do whatever it takes, Mr. Worf.
Arguably something he isn't against and would do in the near future as well, just with a different empire. But there's also a second counter to this argument, and just hear me out. We never confirm that Sloan is dead. Sure, Sisko says that he died. And, of course, Bashir's statement that there's no way to stabilize Sloan is true for the technology Bashir has. But we know that Section 31 uses magic instead of technology, so could they have actually had the means to bring him back from the brink, and did Sisko save him to let him fall back into the shadows? In that vein, this all could have been a complete deception by both Sisko and Sloan. They gave Bashir the ultimate spy story that he always wanted to be a part of. Maybe Sloan gave him some kind of great chase, like some kind of spy movie that he always wanted to, and Sisko revives him later. This is definitely something Section 31 would have done. I mean, they get the cure to Odo, it looks like Sloan is dead, and there's no more real story for Bashir to go with. He has no other leads. If I'm right about all this, and he was Section 31, it makes me wonder if the one who was being manipulated in DS9's The Pale Moon Light, if the person truly being manipulated wasn't Garrick, but that's a conversation for another time. What are your guys' thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Lore Reloaded.